Hey there, why are you just listening to a podcast when you could be making one of your very own? I know what you're worried about. You think it's too time-consuming or too expensive. You think you won't understand the technical side of things. You're not sure what you'd talk about. Well, I've got some good news for you. Head to youcanpodcastnow.net for free information on how to get started. That's youcanpodcastnow.net.
Are you craving a trip on Space Mountain? Well, we've got the next best thing. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, Star Wars Galaxies Edge has opened in Walt Disney World, and Marvel is creating content for the preschool audience. That and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Before I begin the news this week, I need to profusely apologize about a major mistake I made on the previous episode of Disney Coast to Coast, all about the D23 Expo. I need to thank my sister Andrea for pointing out this mistake, and frankly, it's going to take a long time in order for me to forgive myself for this one. If I weren't the producer of Disney Coast to Coast, I'd be worried about losing my hosting duties. As you may recall, I made the argument that since Christina Aguilera has become a Disney legend to reward her duties on MMC, the New Mickey Mouse Club, and for singing Reflection in Mulan, then Kerry Russell should also receive the Disney Legend Award. She is also a Musketeer from MMC, the New Mickey Mouse Club, and I pointed out that she'll be starring in the latest Star Wars film, plus she starred in her own series for Touchstone Television called Felicity. But here's where I made a mistake. I forgot to mention, and frankly, I don't know how I forgot to mention this, that Kerry Russell starred as Mandy in the Walt Disney Pictures movie of epic proportions, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. I know, you're disappointed in me for not initially mentioning this. Believe me when I say that no matter how disappointed you are in me, I'm 10 times more disappointed in myself. As I mentioned before, it's going to take me a long time to get over this one. Now let's move on. Just in case you haven't listened to this past Wednesday's episode yet, I would suggest that you give it a listen for a plethora of news from the D23 Expo. But now let's get to some additional news. Black Spire Outpost on the planet of Batu in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has been voted one of the world's greatest places according to Time magazine. This annual list recognizes 100 destinations around the world that are breaking new ground, leading industry trends, and offering guests an experience that's unlike any other. Time magazine measured the land across quality, originality, innovation, sustainability, and influence. Congratulations to the Imagineers and cast members who have made Batuu a living, breathing planet in Disneyland Park. But Batuu no longer only exists in Disneyland Park, as this past week, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge has officially opened in Disney's Hollywood Studios at the Walt Disney World Resort. Chairman of Parks, Experiences, and Products Bob Chapek was on hand for this grand opening, but interestingly, Disney CEO Bob Iger was not present, at least not on stage. This grand opening included appearances by Star Wars characters like Chewbacca, R2-D2, Hondo Ohnaka, and more. If I'm remembering correctly, this was the first time we got to see Hondo Ohnaka as a walk-around character and not just an animatronic figure in the parks. The land once again opened with only the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run ride option, but Disney's Hollywood Studios will be getting the Rise of the Resistance attraction opening on December 5th of this year, while Disneyland Park needs to wait until January 17th of 2020, as previously reported. The scene at Disney's Hollywood Studios was much different than opening day at Disneyland Park. Disney's Hollywood Studios did not offer the online reservation system, and the line for Smuggler's Run was typically around a 5+ hour wait. This shouldn't really come as any major surprise if you've paid attention to the openings of Wizarding World of Harry Potter East vs. West. East Coast Orlando folks love their theme parks and show up in droves for opening day. Congratulations to the East Coast cast members for bringing Black Spire Outpost to life. Of course, when visiting Batuu, the planet is full of merchandise and souvenirs to bring home with you. One of the items we got a look at in the early stages that have proven to be popular are the specialty Coke product cans in the shape of a thermal detonator. But beware, it's been more difficult to travel home with these souvenirs than you might like. It's been reported that TSA at the airports have been banning these items when they stated replica and inert explosives aren't allowed in either carry-on or checked bags. So if you really want to bring one of these items home, either full or empty, you may want to consider shipping them to yourself instead of putting them in your luggage. Safety first. Speaking of safety, this weekend Florida has been keeping a close eye on the likes of Hurricane Dorian. At the time of recording, the hurricane hasn't yet hit Florida, so details on its strength, etc. are unknown. If you're heading to Florida for a vacation, don't be surprised if this hurricane affects some of your theme park plans, as entire parks may close if it's a safety issue. Overall, I'd just like to say to my friends and listeners in Florida, stay safe. I know this is pretty much an annual tradition for y'all at this point, but please take the proper precautions. And if you are visiting Walt Disney World and your plans are ruined due to Mother Nature, please don't take it out on the cast members whose first responsibility is keeping you all safe. Now, I unfortunately need to talk about some more performance cuts coming to the Disneyland Resort. As I'd previously reported, the Red Car Trolley Newsboys show at Disney California Adventure was cut due to low resort attendance this past summer, and now the same is happening for two other performing groups. The Pixarmonic Orchestra, which performs in Pixar Pier, and whom I love, will play their last performance on September 14th. The Laughingstock Company in Disneyland's Golden Horseshoe Saloon faces the same fate. I feel like I've said this a billion times, so forgive me if this is your billionth time hearing it, but cutting live shows due to low park attendance sucks. I believe that the live shows are what make the parks worthy of repeat visits. I love the rides, but let's face it, they're pretty much the same experience every time you ride. With live shows, you're constantly seeing new performers putting their spin on things, plus you never know what might happen at a live show. It's exciting. I've gone to the Disney parks many times just to see the shows and haven't ridden a single thing. I know I'm in the minority here, but I'm sure I'm not the only person that feels this way. I love live performance, and frankly, the quality of live performers at Disney parks is what makes them different from the competition. If they keep stripping that away, I think it'll hurt the parks in the long run. I'm pretty sure we're all looking forward to the launch of Disney Plus, and I think it's safe to say that the biggest competition for Disney Plus will be Netflix. But if you're used to binge-watching your favorite shows on Netflix, don't expect that from Disney Plus. Disney Plus will be using the typical weekly release format that we're used to on network television. As a consumer, I find this disappointing, but as a producer, I think it makes the most sense. One of the biggest problems with the streaming service is constantly having new content to release. When it's all released in one day, a lot of people will catch it all in one day or just the weekend. This causes a couple of problems. First, there's the fact that the buzzability of a show only lasts for a short period of time. Do you ever hear anyone talking about the latest season of Stranger Things anymore? No. And that's one of the most popular streaming shows around. The second problem is that in order to create quality content for the streaming service, it can sometimes take years. When an audience finishes one season, they don't want to wait years for the next. By releasing shows weekly, this should fix both of these problems. But like I said, I selfishly enjoy the binge method. This may just be a test for Disney Plus, so I wouldn't be surprised if they ultimately change their minds eventually. But rumor has it, Netflix is considering going to weekly releases as well for the same reasons. For years, Disney has had a program called Disney Movie Rewards, where you could type in a code that came with your purchased Disney home videos to gain points and get rewarded. Starting soon, Disney Movie Rewards is getting reimagined and will have a new name. On September 26, 2019, Disney Movie Rewards will become Disney Movie Insiders, a place where new fans and superfans unite. The announcement teased a few of the new program features as well as a mobile app, and has promised more to come. Members will be able to watch trailers and special content about upcoming movies, buy movie tickets directly, have more ways to earn and redeem points for amazing rewards, get insider access to special perks and sweepstakes, and play various interactive experiences on the new mobile app. Marvel has dominated the box office for teenagers and adults, but now they have their sights set on a younger audience. Marvel Animation and Family Entertainment announced a new original animated series for Disney Junior, Marvel's Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Geared toward preschoolers and their families, the series is set to debut in 2021 and will be the first full-length Marvel series for the Disney Junior audience. Our favorite neighborhood web-slinger is used to working solo, but now Peter Parker must discover what it takes to become a truly amazing superhero, being a spider friend who works well with others. Together with his friends Miles Morales and Gwen aka Ghost Spider, they will team up with heroes such as Hulk, Black Panther, and Ms. Marvel to defeat evil foes and learn that teamwork is the best way to save the day. The stories will be filled with themes of friendship, cooperation, solving problems, and using your abilities to help others. For a slightly older audience, Disney Channel has ordered Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, an original animated series based on Marvel's hit comic books. On this past Wednesday's episode of Disney Coast to Coast, I mentioned how we got our first look at the punk rock Cruella starring Emma Stone. Unfortunately, it looks like we'll need to wait a bit longer to see the finished product. Now that Disney owns 21st Century Fox, they've needed to shuffle around some of their release dates since there is so much more content to release. Originally, Cruella was set to be released in December of 2020, but it has now been postponed to May 28th of 2021. This is most likely because Disney will have what is expected to be a hit, with Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story being released in December 2020 under the 20th Century Fox film label. Now let's get to this week's Twitter poll, where I asked you folks, which news-related topic do you think had the most exciting info to come from the D23 Expo? Your options were Disney+, Disney Parks, or the Walt Disney Studios. And last place was the Walt Disney Studios with only 10% of the votes. Then Disney Parks got 25% of the votes. So the whopping winner here is Disney Plus with 65% of the votes. Do you agree with the results of this Twitter poll? Make your voice heard by following Disney CTC on Twitter and taking part in the Twitter poll every week. That's Dizney CTC on Twitter. You can also follow Disney CTC on Instagram and Facebook. Once again, that's Dizney CTC on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you've been enjoying the show for a long period of time, make sure you head over to Apple Podcasts and leave that 5-star rating and review. Your rating and review really helps other Disney fans find the show more easily, so it's always appreciated. And don't forget, there is a big contest going on right now over at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. Through the end of this month, you have the chance to enter and win a Walt Disney World vacation that includes your hotel, your park tickets, and even your food. So head to DisneyCoastToCoast.com and click on contest there. Now, this episode of Disney Coast to Coast was produced by Philip Elke, who has supported the show through Patreon. If you'd like to become a DCTC producer or gain other rewards, including early access to episodes, live stream Q&As, behind-the-scenes access, and more, information can be found at patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.